Chapter 6. Wealth. A rich person usually has large incomes, assets, large bank accounts with limited liabilities, and more incomes than expenses, but with a given level of uncertainty on sustainability of his riches. Rich people have money, but when they make mistakes, they risk losing it all. Rich people really put in a lot of effort to maintain their status. A person can simply be rich with a very fat bank account, but with no assets. They at times hold large amounts of money in paper form and spend largely on their desires, though in this status they stand a high risk of losing it. The rich in most cases are after accumulating assets. Wealth, on the other hand, is beyond being rich. Wealthy people have it all in terms of assets and all that rich people have, but usually in very large volumes, while rich people put effort in looking for money and sustaining it. Money works for wealthy people, yet, on the other hand, rich people borrow money as loans and liabilities to invest at low interest rates. Wealthy people fix money as fixed deposits for the rich to borrow and give them interest. Wealthy people, in most cases, even own the banks. Rich people are an asset owned by the wealthy to some extent. A rich person can simply collapse from riches to rags if they mismanage their funds. But wealthy people, on the other hand, have passed the collapsing level. They stand at almost a no-return zone to poverty. They can only drop to rich, not poor. Wealth is inherited from generation to generation. The wealthy have a continuous system of income, and it is almost an automatic system that works for them. Whereas with the rich, once they inherit and poorly mismanage money or assets, they can easily collapse to poverty. A person moves from poor to survival, from survival to rich, then finally to wealthy. Wealthy people don't have to work because in most cases their money collects them large volumes of income because they stand on top of the money chain. Rich people know how to make money from the system. The wealthy people own the system. It is very hard to cross from rich to wealthy. Riches are measured from the amount of money one has, but wealth can be measured in time and how long one can survive without the need to work. Wealth survives through generation, and wealthy people rarely collapse. A rich person can be an employee with a very good paying job, meaning he or she can be fired. Wealthy people are never employees. With wealth, there is sufficiency in its sustains. Rich people create jobs. Wealthy people create systems. I can proudly say, I am a rich man today, but not yet wealthy, though I work towards becoming wealthy. Wealthy people are mainly found in developed countries because a good economically sound society promotes becoming wealthy. In most African countries, the rich can barely survive because of the incomplete, weak economic cycles in terms of demand and supply. Social, political, and long-term economic stability is conducive for generations of wealth because wealth is a long-term achievement. Wealthy people rarely have huge liabilities. When they hold liabilities, they are usually so minimal and insignificant to lead to their downfall. Majority of the rich people hold very huge significant liabilities, and when poorly mismanaged, they can drop from rich to poor. Both the rich and the wealthy have valuable possessions or money in common. The main difference is a question of volumes, sustainability, efficiency, effectiveness of one's possessions in fulfillment of their desires. For instance, Can you afford a car or a house you really desire to own? Or you simply settle for less because it is what you can afford at the moment due to your limited resources? A wealthy person will instantly buy any expensive thing he desires without reflecting on how costly it really is, whereas a rich man will bargain and even opt to change his desire to a cheaper choice, which is limited by the size of his or her pocket. Rich people can easily drop from riches to rags due to mismanagement of resources, while the wealthy, in most cases, can drop from wealthy to rich, but hardly drop to poor. Crossing from rich to wealthy. The rich and wealthy people, as mentioned above, have valuable possessions in common. A rich man has money, but stands a high chance of losing it if mismanaged. They are attached to liabilities, which may be bank loans, and own assets with liabilities. When a rich person clears liabilities from his assets, then he becomes a wealthy man. He then owns assets without liabilities and holds incomes with limited expenses. This gives him a sense of sustainability from a reasonable and realistic analysis. Money in large volumes without liabilities is wealth.